friends, welcome back to And the Adventure Continues. If this is your first time here, welcome. We are so happy to have you. My husband and I are in the process of adopting a brother and a sister from Taiwan, and so our vlog kind of covers that journey along with our crazy little lives. Today's vlog is 100% adoption process related. In fact, if you are watching this and you are considering adopting from Taiwan or you're just starting the process, you are probably the audience that this video is most made for. If you are our beautiful friends who just watch to keep up with our lives, you might be a little bored, and I won't be offended if you fast forward. Anywho, what we are going to talk about today is the I-600A paperwork process, what that is in adoption, what it entails, start to finish. We are mailing ours today, so before I put it off in the mail to get that process rolling, I wanted to let you know what that packet of paperwork needs to have, at least for the moment. Please keep in mind that policies change when I'm filming. Might be completely different 6 months from now. So just do your own research. Make sure to check with your agency, obviously. This is just our experience currently. Might give you a little bit of a framework to know what to expect with your own. Fun fact, for the China adoption process that we started out on back in 2020, if you haven't been here since the beginning and you're like, wait, I thought you were adopting from Taiwan, make sure that you go check out this video, or this video. I'm gonna put it somewhere up here. Make sure to go check this video and it'll give you a little bit of a background as to where we started and where we are now. Hint, we did not start with Taiwan. So basically when you're adopting internationally, you have to submit forms to the US government to get permission to adopt internationally and to make sure that you check out and that you are cleared to go on ahead and bring that child or children into your home. That is what these forms are for. For China, we had to do the I-800A process, which I'll post up here or here. So if you are adopting from China or a country that requires that I-800A process, you can check out our other video for some further instructions. For Taiwan, they don't do the I-800A because they're not a Hague approved country. So for non-Hague approved countries or Hague accredited countries, you actually have to do what's called an I-600A so that we can get our children immigration approval through us, basically. We are doing that process today. On Friday, we found out officially that we have our referrals or matched, as they say, and so today is now Tuesday, and I'm going to mail our I-600 paperwork. What does that look like? What is in that I-600A paperwork? How do you do it? First of all, your agency, your adoption agency should be a wealth of knowledge. Our agency sent us a phenomenal guide. Since we had already done the I-800A, there are a lot of similarities between the two forms, so it didn't seem quite as foreign this time around. But our agency did provide us with a fantastic guide that literally said, you know, line by line, put this in this blank and this in this blank. Absolutely fantastic. I'm sure your adoption agency will do the same. So first you go to the USCIS website or your agency sends you the form. There's this huge application form that you fill out. I think it was 9 pages long, I want to say. On that form, it's going to ask for your information and your spouse's information if you're married. It's going to ask about your adoption agency and your home study agency. It's going to ask about how many kids you are planning to adopt. All that good stuff. It's going to ask about your background, if you have any kind of criminal stuff that you need to talk about, that'll be on there. So that is that form. One kind of important thing that our agency said and that the instructions were very clear on is use black ink when you complete it, or you can use like a PDF filler and do that either way. But black ink is super important. So you fill that out, and then there's a supplement 2 form, which that form has to do with allowing USCIS, the government agency, the immigration office, to talk to our adoption agency and our home study agency. So we actually had to do 2 supplement 2 forms to include. Also going along in our packet is a notarized home study. When you get your home study, they should provide you with multiple copies. Ours gave us 3. One of those actual official notarized copies needs to go with this. That supplement 2 is called the consent to disclose information. It looks a little something like so. That is the supplement 2 form that allows the government immigration office to talk with your adoption agency. If you want to receive like texts or emails to notify you about the status of your paperwork, and who doesn't, am I right? There is another lovely little form. There is this form that you can fill out that gives them permission to send you electronic updates. That is the form G1145. And then also you have to include copies of either your birth certificates or your naturalization certificates or your passports. So at this moment, you have to provide a copy of one of those things for you, for your spouse if you're married. And if you're married, you also have to include a copy of your marriage certificate. It didn't have to be like an official copy, just literally a Xerox copy will do just fine. And then you wind up with quite a nice little stack of paperwork to send. You also need to include a check. You gotta pay them. I'm not going to tell you how much that fee is because that fee changes all the time. And by the time you watch this video, it could be completely wrong. And you'd be like, but wait, Sarah told me it was this much and it's really that much. Don't want you to hate me. So I'm not telling you how much it is at the moment. Just know you really need to include payment or they're not gonna process this for you. One other thing I'm going to include when I take this is I'm going to get a return envelope that I've already put postage on. I'll probably make it an express one because I want everything to go quickly. So when I send this, I'm also going to include a return envelope so they can send it back to me as quickly and as trackably as possible. All right, let's go to the post office, shall we? It's officially I-600A fingerprinting day. We made it, finally.
So when we went, we did this first time.
When we did the I-800A for China.
Mm-hmm. Had to get fingerprinted up here, over here, I guess. The recommendation that we had was to get an Airbnb, and we didn't this time because we were
trying to save money.
I recommend just getting an Airbnb. Just get the Airbnb.
Well, it depends on where you live. Like for us, we live about 2 hours away. So we got up at 4:30 in the morning, got on the road at 5:30, which was great, and then made the drive over. We gave ourselves like a half-hour cushion, which I'm really glad we did because traffic was horrible. So it wound up only giving us like a 10-minute cushion by the time that we made it. But we're here, which is fabulous.
Also, we made sure not to that our hands have good fingerprints on them, that we're not using our hands.
We didn't do like any heavy cleaning or any like manual labor that would mess up our fingerprints.
Yeah, raking leaves or anything like that.
We don't want to have to come back over here again.
Keep your fingers nice.
They sent us our appointment for the fingerprinting 10 days ago. We had a 10-day window between like getting the notice in the mail that said, hey, this is when your appointment is, and then the actual appointment today. So 10 days. They wound up sending us this form I-797C, notice of action. That has the fingerprinting appointment. They sent us 2 of those, like one for Josh, one for me, and then another set of those. And I read it really carefully, and it said to make sure you bring, like, if you get multiple notices, bring all the notices with you. Like, we thought it was just an error that, oh, they must have accidentally sent us more. But even if it was, like, bring them anyways. Bring a pen, bring masks at this point.
Put it in, like, a little folder.
Yeah, make sure you have everything. And I wish we could take you inside and show you that process, but we are not allowed, so.
They are still masking at this point, and so make sure to have a mask.
So we'll leave you in the car while we go get fingerprinted, and we'll let you know how it goes. Last time it was super fast, and we'll see how it is this time. And we're done. It is 8:24.
We just got in the car. The doors literally open at 8 o'clock.
On the nose, they do not open a second early.
Make sure to get out of your car and stand
In
line. Like 8 minutes till, 10 minutes till.
There were a lot of people this time.
So when we say a lot, there was like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, but last time we came, there was only like one family of 3. So
it's super nice if you can get the 8 o'clock appointment. You walk up to the desk, make sure your paperwork is filled out. So usually the second sheet will have where you put like your information.
So the first sheet is the actual like fingerprinting appointment, and then the second sheet that they send you, near the bottom there's a section where you fill out your name, your height, your weight, your hair color, your eye color. Make sure you go on ahead and fill that out before you get here, because otherwise you hold up the line and it takes longer.
And your cell phone has to be turned off. We just put our cell phones, we left them in the car.
Yep.
Just so there wasn't any issue. So make sure your cell phone is completely off.
Yeah, we didn't need a pen. So the paperwork said to bring, if you get multiple forms, to bring all of them, which we did, but then
it confused them.
They had like never seen that before. So I don't really know what happened. I guess just bring one, not all of it.
And so by the time we opened the door, she wrote, the lady at the front desk, we stood in like a little line, and then she wrote 8:07. So I guess for me.
Mine was 8:05 is my like check-in time. Yours was 8:07.
It was once you're in there, it was super quick.
It would have been faster, except I broke the camera. Like, they have to take a picture of you, so they make you take your mask off and then do your picture. Something like that. They had to do a picture, and then they do your fingerprints. And bless her heart, the poor girl, she like went to take my picture, and the whole camera, like, it made the whole system freeze. And so she had to reboot everything. So it would have been even faster had that not happened. She said, I have really good fingerprints. She complimented them multiple times. She was impressed by them.
Yes, you have great fingerprints.
So her actual like fingerprinting of me went really quick.
Mine didn't go so well. I mean,
she only had to redo a couple of yours.
Like,
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, she had to redo like 3 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, really?
It's always awkward because like, they've got to rotate your finger. You've probably had this at this point. If you're watching this, you've had the FBI fingerprinting or something. It's like you gotta.
I always have the tendency to want to like help. It's really hard just to like relax and let them do it. Like, I want to help them, but just try to relax your hand and let them do their thing. But yeah, it was super quick.
And if you're in Charleston, there is a Duck Donuts, and that's what we're gonna go to because that's what we did the first time.
Yes, this is like our celebratory thing after Homeland Security fingerprinting. We go get Duck Donuts and something hot to drink because it's like 37 degrees.
There is a restroom inside the building. Even though I have to use the restroom, I don't really want to use a restroom at a Homeland Security site.
Weirded him out.
Just like, yeah.
All right, so we are going to go get our celebratory Duck Donuts. Let's go.
They all look so good.
The dog duck.
It's a dog duck.
How confusing is that? It has Lucky Charms on it. Cheers. Yay for I-600s. Oh, I forgot to mention before, the form that you take into your fingerprinting appointment, they actually give that back to you. So the 2 forms that you take in, they'll stamp them and date them and like scan them in, but then they give them right back to you again. So you go home with the same papers that you went in with. All right, celebratory donuts have been consumed. Not all 6 of them, but now we are, and we bought more ducks.
I already showed you this earlier. This is like my favorite.
The dog duck.
Dog duck.
Classic.
Her little tail.
Classic. So we'll save those for our kiddos. And now we get to drive the 2 hours home. And the I-600A process is not complete. That was just our biometrics, our fingerprinting portion. Now we just have to wait a few weeks. Not really sure how long it's going to be this time, but wait a little while until we get our official notice in the mail that it is done. And we'll let you know when we get that. We got something very exciting in the mail today. We officially received our I-600A approval. Yes. In case you're like me and you love dates and that kind of hard information to be able to put into your brain to manage expectations, here is the timeline of dates of how our whole I-600A process went. So we officially mailed our I-600A application on February 15th. Then about a week later, February 22nd, we got the text that said that USCIS had received it, our lockbox date, so to speak. Then on March 4th, we got our notice in the mail of our fingerprinting appointment. Then on March 14th, 10 days later, we had our official fingerprinting appointment. And then finally today, we received our I-600A approval in the mail. So let me tell you what that looks like. It has all kinds of personal info, so I can't show you too much, unfortunately, but let me show you what I can. It comes with the official approval letter. It's 2 documents. A copy of this will also be sent to your adoption agency. Mine hadn't gotten it yet, so when I emailed them and I was like, hey, we got our approval today, they were like, oh, we don't have it yet. Can you scan it to us, please? So you might have to send it to your agency as well. It says the age at time of referral that we're permitted to adopt. It says gender. For ours, it says male, female, because we're adopting a brother and a sister. And health status, it says healthy or special needs. Those are the criteria of which we're officially approved for. One super cool thing about this, the I-800A didn't come with a nice letter like this one did. This I-600A approval came with this really nicely written, like easy to understand and polite letter from USCIS. It's amazing. And it just starts out with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, would like to congratulate you on your Form I-600A approval and for completing the first step in the immigration process for adopting a child from Taiwan. How sweet is that? Like, they congratulate you and they give you a whole letter kind of outlining what's coming next, what to expect, that kind of a thing. So your fingerprints have an expiration date, like ours are good for little bit over a year until like June 2023, which we're gonna have our kiddos home before then. We won't need it. But they allow for like 1 extension or 1 re-fingerprinting without any additional fees. So I'm like floored. Anyways, this is pretty cool. The letter is super nice and helpful. It outlines our next step, which has to do with the pre-adoption immigration review, the PAIR process, which I'm still learning about. This is very new. It wasn't part of the China process at all. So this has to do with the fact that Taiwan is not a Hague accredited country. So they do this PAIR, pre-adoption immigration review process. It's a mouthful. They do that to kind of compensate for not being a Hague accredited country. It's more checks and balances basically to make sure that everything is being done above board. So the PAIR process will be something that we tackle next. I don't completely know how to do it yet, but we will bring you along for the ride. Also in the envelope was this pink form. This is what we would have to send back if the timeline drags out and we wind up needing an extension for our I-600A. We would need to send this back to them. So this is going to be a very important piece of paper. When you get your approval, make sure you hang on to it. I'm going to file this away in a safe place. I'm really hoping and praying that we won't need an extension for any reason. Like, I want this process to keep moving right along. And we're just going to tuck it away and have it in case. But God willing, we will not need it. So our total timeline from the time that we mailed our I-600A application to today, it was a little less than 7.5 weeks total process. From the time that we did our fingerprinting to today, it was 3.5 weeks. That is the I-600A process. Keep in mind, it is subject to change. Like I said, today is April 8th, 2022. By the time you watch this video, the process could be completely different. The government likes to change stuff. So do your own research. Take this with a grain of salt. It might be very different when you go through the process, but at least this will give you a very general idea of what it was like now. So for us, the next stage in the process is we are continuing to wait for our dossier paperwork to be sent from Taiwan to our adoption agency here in the United States so that we can begin that step. Our agency told us it would probably be about 3 months. So we're probably looking at another month before that comes in, but prayerfully it will come in sooner than that and we can get a jump and keep moving forward because we like forward momentum around here. Thank you so much for joining us for this whole exciting I-600A process, and we look forward to showing you what comes next. Please connect with us on Instagram. You can find us at andtheadventurecontinues_adopt. Until next time, guys, and the adventure continues. Zaijian, goodbye!